Lamar Jackson, the Ravens officially placed a non-exclusive, and I like to repeat that, non-exclusive player tag, which means at just over $32 million is what they'd be paying them a year. Of course, if an NFL team would want him, they could either come up with an offer or say 2 first-round draft picks, but the Ravens, with the non-exclusive tag, have the option to say, hey, we'll match that, putting the ball in the Ravens court and not having to litigate this with Lamar Jackson.
Right.
But instead saying, okay, X team offered you $40 million a year. We're just going to match it so we don't got to pay you $50.
Exactly.
Or you just give us 2 first-round picks and we'll give you him. So the thing really about it, we had one tweet we want to read out first. So Robert Griffin III, former, at the time, Redskins quarterback, compared Lamar Jackson to Daniel Jones stats. So it reads out, Lamar Jackson, 45-16 overall.
Which is impressive.
26 years old. 1 MVP. But unanimous MVP. So that's what this doesn't say. When Lamar Jackson won the MVP, there was nobody else near him.
Bro, he had the season of his, bro. As a Ravens fan, oh my God. Matter of fact, when that season, when we lost to the Browns, we got embarrassed at home. And this was during COVID. And what nobody understand, none of that. We lost to the Browns, and I'm like, bro, the Browns is not a better team than us. I text Kirk, I'm like, bro, we not losing. I said, this is going to be our only loss for the rest of the season. I said, we're going to go 14-2 into the playoffs. Bro, we did that. That was a hell of a season that we had. Bro, I was ecstatic. Then we got to the playoffs and got embarrassed by the Titans. I was crushed.
Yeah, it's a
I was
crushing
crushed,
moment.
bro. I was crushed.
And
Me and Kirk was watching the game together. We were still roommates at the time. And we was watching the game. After we lost, we like, yo, I ain't even gonna lie, bro. That hurt. Like, if it was a year for us to win the Super Bowl, it was that year.
Yeah.
But like we said, life happens, and it just is like, yo, it just reminds you that you might be doing everything right, but it should just be one day that everything goes wrong, and it would just happen to be that day. Like, the film, they studied. Like, they did their job. Shout out to Mike Vrabel, even though I don't really bang with you like that, but you did what you were supposed to do as a head coach. Like, you did what you were supposed to do. Like, you studied film. You knew that this is not something that you want to get you out of the playoffs. So you had to do what you had to do, and that's just the bottom line. Like, with the NFL, like, you have to adapt.
Yeah.
And with Lamar being as dynamic as a quarterback as he is, it's like everybody say he's just a running quarterback. He just this. He just that. Bro, he's more than that. He's trying to prove that he's more than that. Like, I don't know if you know, but the last 2 seasons that he's missed 6 games, he got hurt inside of the pocket. It wasn't outside of the pocket.
Yep.
It was inside the pocket. Now, granted, a lot of people say you can play through that. You can play through this. It's easy for you to sit here and say that. But when you are a mobile quarterback, your legs are your money makers. Like, literally, like, you depend on that to help you extend plays. So for him to be the dynamic quarterback that he is, and for the situation to fall as to what it fell to, it was kind of like, at first I was mad as hell about it. But then, talking to my friends that play football, and I don't talk football with everybody. I do not talk football with everybody.
It gets heated quick.
Yeah, because like Kirk said all the time, he said, you can't talk football with idiots. And some of y'all are idiots. Like my man Bill say, I be lashing out in the group chat sometimes. Nah, some of these fans be lashing out because things don't play out the way that they want to. But a lot of people don't realize that Lamar has saved so many jobs on that coaching staff just because of who he is and what he brings to the table. It's like, I felt disrespected when I found out that they was giving him the non-exclusive, but then I looked at it and I was like, yo, you got to realize he don't have an agent. Mm-hmm. And when Deshaun Watson came back after not playing however many games and he got all this money guaranteed, he's trying to, put the QB market into a spot where the league does not want it to get to. Yeah. You know what I mean? And for Lamar to not have an agent, they don't want anybody else to come in and be like, okay, well, if Lamar can do this by himself, I don't need an agent. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the league was kind of like, all right, we're not really trying to make an example out of you, but we're going to make an example out of you because we're not trying to set the standard that this is what's new normal. So really my take on it is I understand why they did it. I see how it can play out. A lot of teams came out and said the Panthers said they don't want him. The Falcons said they don't want him. Who else?
Commanders, the Dolphins, the Raiders. But one thing I'll really do is run through the exact stats because this is the disheartening part, but we know the politics part of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is the NFL wants to bring these after what happened with Deshaun Watson. They want to take control back. So the owners, they're all billionaires.
Yeah.
They want to keep being billionaires.
Right.
So they want to keep the control. But the exact stats with Lamar Jackson, 45-16, 26 years old, unanimous MVP when he won the MVP, even though they lost to the Titans in the playoffs. 101 passing touchdowns, 24 rushing touchdowns, compared to Daniel Jones, who just got $160 million for 4 years, a little over $80 million guaranteed. He's 1 year younger at 25 years old, 0 MVPs, 41 less passing touchdowns at 60, 12 rushing touchdowns compared to double at what Lamar Jackson's done. Robert Griffin III closes this. If teams don't want Lamar, why were the Giants afraid they'd want Daniel Jones with in many cases not even half the stats that Lamar Jackson has?
Right.
But I think the hardest part to decipher is that I'm sorry it had to be Lamar Jackson, but this to me is much more a Deshaun Watson thing.
Yeah.
Because of what they had,
And
him
all
going
the
through all these
scrutiny.
troubles. I think if he didn't go through all these troubles, which could be personal things, these are alleged things. We haven't seen him convicted. We haven't seen him go to jail,
Right.
prison, anything like that. So it's like all these alleged sexual assault cases, which is staggering. I think it's something like 26. But
Yeah.
if that never happened, he performed. Went to the Browns. He performed. The Browns either went to the Super Bowl, made deep Super Bowl playoffs.
That would have been the new normal.
We'd be talking a new normal.
Yeah.
But it's because of this. I feel like it's so sad to see Lamar Jackson going through it because the NFL is trying to do what they feel. The NFL owners, let me clear that up, are trying to do what they feel is best for them and bring these contracts down.
Right.
And I'm sorry to see Lamar Jackson go through it because he's transformed the Ravens franchise.
Man, when I tell you that when they started him over Flacco, we went on an 8-game winning streak, made it to the playoffs. That playoff game that we ended up playing the Chargers, everybody's like, nah, put Flacco back in. Put Flacco back in. So in my mind, I'm like, what are you doing to a rookie quarterback? Like, you're killing his confidence if you take the start. Like, I understand that Flacco got us a chip. Shout out to him. Number definitely should be retired. Nobody should ever wear 5 in that franchise ever again. But, like, what kind of, like, if this is your quarterback in the future, what are you showing him by benching him in a playoff game where he can, essentially make an impact? Or football is a game of inches and yards. You know what I mean? So it's like, say if he gets 2 more yards on the 3rd and 2 and get that first down, they possibly score. Whatever the case is, you just never know because the type of player that he is, yeah, he was really running when he first came in, but that's because we ain't really had no pass game. But now that he's trying to develop into this QB that can pass, he can prove the league wrong, whatever the case is. Like, he's in the back of his mind, I know he's thinking about it because he's like every other guy in the league that is being counted out at his position. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, I got to go out here. I got to overperform. I got to make sure I do this, do that, do this, do that. It's a lot of stress that comes with it. And like you said, it's unfortunate that he's fallen victim to this. But I think at the end of the day, the Ravens are, I will say they're going to match whatever's being offered, but it's just kind of like, all right, we just want you to go out here and see what the QB market is because it's not what you think it is. So ultimately, I think they hopefully get this done before the draft because if it gets to the draft, that's when it's really going to get tricky.
I completely agree. Even though I'm a Falcons fan, we could be a contending quarterback, especially with our picks that we're looking to pick up an edge rusher.
Nobody in the league is trying to spend that kind of money. Even though they know for a fact what he brings to the table and they know that he can transform their franchise, they're not trying to spend that money.
Yeah, because all signs point to us picking up an edge rusher, Tyree Wilson, Nolan Smith, those type of guys. that we still need a quarterback because I like Desmond Ridder for the Falcons.
Yeah,
but
he was cool though. Because even as a Ravens fan, and our defense is, hit or miss some games, but had it come down to something very crucial, our defense probably would have folded. I know that for I've been watching us since I was in diapers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even when I couldn't really understand football, know what was going on. I was alive for both. Both Super Bowls. Like I vaguely remember when we beat the Giants in the Super Bowl, but I actually was in college down at UMES watching the Ravens play the 49ers in the ballroom at the SSC. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, when we won, I was tearing that campus up.
Doing it big.
Coffee and ginger ale all night. Like, we won that joint. I was happy. And we almost lost, too, because the defense let them come back.
But I really feel like, especially with Falcons, we take an edge rusher, and all the good quarterbacks in the draft go early, especially the Panthers getting the first pick by trading DJ Moore and 5 picks to the Bears to get the first pick. They're going to get whatever quarterback they want. So they're not going to go for Lamar. The Dolphins, they re-signed. They picked up Tua's 5th-year deal, so they're not going. So Commanders, Raiders, Falcons are 3 of the teams. And we know teams have said, oh, we're not interested. But a lot of them, the owners are going to play it close to their chest. Even if they are interested, they're going to say no because they don't want to give up, oh, we might be going for a pick, one of the quarterbacks in the draft and try to trade with another team, or we might be going to Lamar. So we don't want to overplay our hand and let other teams know what we're doing. But the biggest thing is I really want Lamar to be able that if he stays at the Ravens organization, that it doesn't break down his mind to say like, oh, I'm not getting what I want. They tried to trade me away. They tried to do the non-exclusive thing. So now I'm not going to play my hardest.
Right.
Now y'all did this to me. I'm going to do this to y'all.
Nah.
That he just keeps doing his thing. And it's not right. And it's not fair. But he keeps doing his thing. He keeps proving his worth. He keeps improving because he's a winner. Lamar Jackson is a winner.
Proven winner.
And if he stays with the Ravens, to say he just keeps improving and putting his stake, and that he does get these $250 million contracts.
You know what's crazy? I'm such a Lamar fan that I was like, yo, wherever he goes, I go. But I'm always going to be loyal to the Ravens. But wherever Lamar lands, I'm still going, root for him. But I'm going to send you this podcast. I'm going to DM you.
Whether he sees it or not.
Whether you see it or not. Just know that we are in your corner. Even though he's a Falcons fan, you've been telling me since you came in the league. He's like, oh, I'm
love
rocking.
Lamar.
Yo, I'm rocking with him. The narrative that they got about him, and he's out here, he's surpassing all these negative outlets and stuff like that, like saying he can't do this and can't do that. Yo, the year that he had the MVP, he led the league in passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So don't tell me he can't pass. Yeah, he can work on his accuracy a little bit. You need to holler at Tom Brady, get the rundown, but he's the only quarterback that I know that beat Tom Brady twice.
Yeah.
As a Raven.
And
like, we know that Joe Flacco has done what he's done in the playoffs here and there, but like regular season, like the Patriots always had the upper hand on the Ravens. Yeah. Always. But Lamar is the only quarterback that I've seen defeat Tom Brady. Not flawlessly, but he did his thing. So
yeah, it's a lot to do it because
Lamar, when you see this, shout out to you, man. We rooting for you.
It's a lot to do that because in the Falcons franchise history, especially when we talk about Tom Brady and what a winner he is, and I mean, we talk about the ultimate winning quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Especially Super Bowl wise, getting them actual
six
rings.
Of them things.
Getting them actual rings is what actually matters. That he's done it at the highest level. That is the craziest that the only Falcons quarterback in history to ever beat Tom Brady is Desmond Ridder. No Falcons quarterback. He never lost to the Falcons ever until last year. And that so much more goes that. It's all 11 on 11.
Right.
But for Lamar Jackson to go out there and beat Tom Brady twice
2-0
is a feat that many people will overlook and will say, especially with those systems that Tom Brady had. It's like Tom Brady is the GOAT when you talk about quarterback. For now, he's the GOAT until somebody else arises. Patrick Mahomes, of course, can come up. And it looks like he's creeping up. And
that's Lamar's next, like we talking about the boss, and then you got the super boss. Like, so Tom Brady's a super boss, right?
Yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes is the boss because for a minute, like the Chiefs was manhandling the Ravens. Like it was, can Lamar beat this? Can Lamar beat Mahomes? Can he beat Josh Allen? Can he do this? Can you do that? Like it's just always going to be like the type of quarterback that he is, and the success that they did not account for, and he's surpassing everything they didn't account for. It's like they always got to make up some type of excuse of why he's not this or why he's not that. Like you putting quarterbacks like Justin Herbert over him, who actually in the playoffs, even though it was a team thing, like you said, they just lost. They was like
flat out.
I think it was 20-7 or 27-7 or something like that. But Justin Herbert ain't really, he ain't make no playoff noise. So why are you holding this playoff crown over Lamar too? Like y'all not doing that with Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. So calm that noise down, man. The numbers speak for themselves.
So speaking of